Hello and welcome to NFL Nexus. You know the drill, it's that time of year again. The first few weeks of the new league year hit and boom, it's the NFL free agency frenzy. I mean, we see it every single March, right? Teams with cash to burn just go on an absolute shopping spree throwing these mind-boggling nine-figure contracts at the biggest names out there. Splashy headlines are everywhere, your social media feed is just on fire, and fan bases are either celebrating some blockbuster signing they think will save their franchise, or they're just sitting there complaining that their front office isn't doing anything. It's just a crazy high-stakes game. But you know, down in Indianapolis, general manager Chris Ballard and the Colts, they play a very, very different game. Instead of chasing headlines, they're all about a quieter, more calculated strategy. And today we're going to break that whole thing down by looking at two key moves that, yeah, they might not have made the national news, but they could be absolutely critical for the Colts' future. So before we really dive in, if this is the kind of deep dive NFL analysis you like, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. It honestly helps us out a ton. All right, let's get into it. So let's just start with the big question, the one that every fan base argues about from March until September. What really defines a successful NFL offseason? Is it about winning the opening press conference? Is it about signing the guy with the most Pro Bowls on his resume, no matter the cost or how he actually fits your team? Or is it maybe something a little deeper than that? Is it about patiently, meticulously finding the exact right pieces for your specific system, addressing your team's unique weaknesses, and building a roster that actually makes sense from top to bottom? Well, for the Colts front office, the answer is, without a doubt, the second one. They operate on this core belief that real success isn't about the splash you make in March. It's about the wins you stack up on Sundays in the fall.
And really, this right here is the guiding principle for everything Chris Ballard does. This is the whole thesis of our explainer today. For the Indianapolis Colts, it is crystal clear. It is not about the flash, it's all about the fit. And that idea, that simple phrase, it guides every single decision they make. We're talking draft picks, veteran signings, you name it. It means they're prioritizing guys who get their role, who add something positive to the locker room culture that head coach Shane Steichen is building, and who bring specific skills that the coaches have said, hey, we need this. It's a really disciplined, almost egoless way of building a team that takes incredible patience and a deep, honest look at your own roster. And honestly, it's perfectly illustrated by the two signings we're about to break down.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this quiet off-season strategy. To really wrap our heads around it, we're going to focus on two moves that, on the surface, seem kind of minor, but they tell you everything you need to know about how this team is built. First, we'll look at the re-signing of a veteran offensive player, a guy who's been with the team for years and has become a core piece of their identity. Then, we're going to flip over to the defense and analyze an under-the-radar pickup from another team, a player brought in to plug multiple holes. And together, these two moves, they paint a perfect picture of the Colts' blueprint for building a winner without having to break the bank. All right, let's kick things off on offense with a player who just screams Colts culture. We are talking about the decision to re-sign veteran tight end Mo Alie-Cox. Our sources for this are describing him as a lifelong Colts staple and a locker room favorite. Now look, in the NFL, where guys are moving around all the time, those aren't just buzzwords. Having that kind of respected veteran presence, a guy who has been there, done that, and sets the standard for the younger players, well, that's priceless. This move wasn't about adding some flashy new weapon. It was about keeping a piece of the team's soul right where it belongs and holding on to a critical, often overlooked part of their offense.
The journey of Mo Alie-Cox is it's incredible. And his path is so far from typical. I mean, let's really look at this. 2017, he gets signed to the practice squad. Okay, but here's the wild part. He never played a single down of college football. Not one. He was a power forward for the VCU basketball team, known for his size and his rebounding. It was GM Chris Ballard who saw that raw athletic talent, the size, the hands, the footwork on the court, and decided to take a huge gamble. From there, it was just an absolute grind. He spent that first year just learning how to be a football player, literally learning how to get into a three-point stance, how to block a defensive end. By 2018, he starts to get it, sees his first real action. And it was just this slow, steady climb, year after year. Fast forward to the 2025 season, and he's a key role player, making a real impact. And that brings us to 2026, where the team says, we have to bring this guy back. This isn't just a story about one player. It's a testament to the Colts' ability to find and develop talent. So what is it that he actually does on the field that makes him so important? Well, this slide lays out his two critical roles perfectly. First, and you really can't overstate this, he's one of the NFL's premier run-blocking tight ends. Seriously, in an offense that's built around a superstar running back like Jonathan Taylor, having a guy who can block like that is a genuine force multiplier. He's basically a sixth, more athletic offensive lineman out there who can seal the edge on a run and just create a massive lane. But he's not just a blocker. His second role is as this incredibly reliable red zone threat. He's that guy who, when the field shrinks inside the 20 and everything gets tight, he just uses his massive 6'5" frame to box out defenders and come up with what our source calls huge answers. He might not get 10 catches a game, but the ones he gets, they often come in the biggest moments. This number right here, this is what it's all about. This quantifies his value, and honestly, it's kind of stunning. 7.94. What does that mean? That's how many catches Mo Alie-Cox averages for every touchdown he scores. Just let that sink in for a second. For a player whose main job is to be a battering ram in the run game, he finds the end zone roughly once for every 8 times he catches the football. Just to put that in perspective, a lot of elite pass-catching tight ends, guys who are paid to score, they might have a ratio of 12, maybe 15 catches per touchdown. For a role player to be this efficient is just off the charts good. It tells you that when the Colts get close, Mo Alie-Cox becomes a trusted go-to weapon. It's that hidden production that makes him way more valuable than his box score might suggest.
Okay, so the Colts locked down a key piece of their offense and their locker room with Alie-Cox. That's a great foundational move, but it was just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. The front office still had a ton of work to do, especially on the other side of the ball. So now let's kind of zoom out a little bit. We're going to shift from that one specific signing and look at the bigger picture and really outline the key holes on defense that the Colts still had to fix. So what were these big question marks on D? Let's go through them one by one, because each one is a real challenge. First up, defensive end. Now they've got a rising star in Leatu Latu, who is awesome in 2025 with 8.5 sacks, but the group around him? The sources describe it as underwhelming. And in today's league, you need more than one guy who can get to the QB. Otherwise, offenses just double-team your best player and your pass rush disappears. Next, a huge one, safety. The team lost Nick Cross, a 4-year starter who signed with the Commanders. That leaves a massive hole in terms of production, experience, and just communication on the back end. So now you need a legitimate difference maker to play next to Cam Bynum. And to make things even trickier, one of their potential in-house guys, a prospect named Hunter Wooler, was coming off a really nasty season-ending Lisfranc injury. You just can't count on a player in that spot to be the definite answer right away. And that brings us to the big puzzle facing Chris Ballard. You've got multiple needs on defense, a glaring hole at safety, and you don't have an infinite amount of money to spend. So what do? How do you fill that void left by a veteran starter and add quality depth without just throwing a massive contract at a big-name free agent? This is the classic challenge for a team that believes in fit over flash. They need an answer, but it has to be the right kind of answer for their system, their culture, and their wallet. And the answer they found? Well, it's our second case study, the signing of safety Juanyeh Thomas. This is the other side of that strategic coin we were talking about. See, the Alie-Cox signing was about keeping a known, homegrown talent who is the heart of your culture. This move, though, was about finding an under-the-radar player from another team who had this unique, versatile skill set that could solve multiple problems at once. This is the acquire versatile talent part of the blueprint in action. I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly captures the whole point of this signing and really the whole Colts philosophy. This particular signing likely went overlooked since Thomas isn't a household name with star power. And that's it right there. That's the point. The Colts weren't looking for a household name to win a press conference in March. They were looking for a high-value guy who could help them win football games in October. It's a classic Chris Ballard move. Finding a player who has been grinding it out somewhere else, making his name on special teams, and is now ready for a bigger shot. It's a bet on potential over pedigree. And just like with Mo Alie-Cox, Juanyeh Thomas's story is all about perseverance. Just look at this timeline. In 2022, he goes completely undrafted. For any college player, that's a huge gut punch. He has to fight just to get on the Cowboys practice squad for a year with zero guarantees. But he just kept grinding. Then, 2023, he makes the active roster, plays in 16 games, and makes his mark on special teams, even blocking a kick. Then, 2024, his role gets even bigger. He becomes a kick returner and takes one all the way for a touchdown. Then, in 2025, he earns more defensive snaps and sets a career high in tackles, even though his season was cut short by migraines. What you're seeing here is a clear, steady upward climb. Every single year, he got better and earned a bigger role. That is exactly the kind of hungry, ascending player you want to bring into your building. So let's just nail down exactly what makes him such a smart signing. You can break down his value into 3 distinct parts. 1, he's a real defensive contributor. He's got experience playing safety, and he's ready to compete for that starting job, or at the very least be a key rotational guy. 2, he's an explosive kick returner. That touchdown in 2024 shows he can flip the field in a heartbeat. That's a huge weapon. And 3, he has a special teams ace on the coverage units. That blocked kick proves he's a disruptive force who can change a game in that phase too. So in one player, you're getting defensive depth, a potential starting kick returner, and a core special teamer. It's like filling 3 roster needs with one smart, cost-effective signing. That is incredible value. Okay, so now we can pull the camera back and see the whole picture. When you look at the Mo Alie-Cox move and the Juanyeh Thomas move together, you see the complete philosophy. It's not just a couple of random signings, it's a cohesive, two-pronged approach to building a deep, tough, and versatile football team. So let's just put these two stories together into one clear blueprint that really defines how the Colts operate. This table just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? The Colts blueprint has 2 main pillars that work together. Pillar 1, retain your core specialists. The perfect example is Mo Alie-Cox. The value he gives you is very specific, but it's elite, top-tier run blocking, and ridiculously efficient red zone scoring. You identify what your own guys do best, and you keep them. Pillar 2, acquire versatile, high-upside talent. The example there is Juanyeh Thomas. The value he provides is broad and hits multiple areas: defensive depth, kick return ability, special teams impact. You go find hungry players who can wear a bunch of different hats and solve multiple problems for way less than a big-name star. You put those 2 pillars together, and you get a roster that's strong where it needs to be and flexible enough to handle whatever the season throws at it. So the big takeaway from all this, the main point of our deep dive today, is this. It doesn't always take a $100 million all-star player to make your team better. In fact, sometimes the smartest way to build a winner is through a series of smart, targeted moves for players who fill specific vital roles. The Colts are betting that the combined impact of an elite blocking tight end and a do-it-all defensive back is actually more valuable to them than one big-name player who might not fit their culture or scheme as well. It's really a masterclass in building a team, not just collecting talent. And that leaves us with the big final question. We've seen the blueprint, we've broken down the strategy, but is this quiet, calculated, disciplined approach going to be enough to make the Colts real contenders come the 2026 season? Only time is going to tell if these smart, under-the-radar moves actually lead to more W's in the win column. So what do you think? Do you like this strategy, or do you wish they'd go out and make that big, splashy signing? I want to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. And that's a wrap on this explainer for NFL Nexus. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. And hey, if you're looking for a fun way to help support the channel, check out our coloring books. They're perfect for kids, grandkids, even adults. You can find the link for them down in the description, or just use the QR code you see on your screen now. Thanks so much for watching.